Have you ever felt invisible to that woman you truly desired? Like a ghost passing through the corridors of her life without leaving any mark? Pay attention, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you the keys to a vault that few men dare to open. It's like gaining access to the control panel of a complex machine you've always wanted to operate, but never knew where the right buttons were. That ends now. You're about to discover 5 dark psychology techniques that will completely transform how women perceive you. It's not about being handsome. It's not about having money. It's about understanding the invisible mechanisms that govern the female mind and knowing exactly where to touch to create the perfect symphony of attraction and desire. How many times have you tried to be the nice guy and ended up just being a friend? How many unanswered texts? How many dates that never happened? The truth hurts, but it needs to be said. While you're busy trying to impress with kindness and excessive attention, other men are using proven psychological principles to create deep, irresistible connections. They're not better than you. They just know something you don't know yet. Think with me. Every time you approach an interesting woman, what happens? Your heart races. Your words get jumbled, and suddenly you become just another face in the crowd of men desperate for attention. She senses that desperation from a mile away. It's like an internal radar that detects insecurity and neediness. Do you want to know what truly makes the difference? After 7 years of studying behavioral patterns and diving deep into the neuroscience of attraction, I discovered that there are specific triggers that activate automatic responses in the female brain. These mechanisms are so powerful, they work even when she's consciously trying to resist. It's ultra-rare knowledge that less than 1% of men master. I'll tell you a secret. Women don't rationally choose who they're attracted to. Attraction happens in deep layers of the subconscious, in primitive areas of the brain that respond to specific stimuli. When you learn to activate these stimuli, everything changes. Now let's get straight to what matters. The 5 techniques that will revolutionize your interactions. First technique, the social scarcity trigger. You know how when you see a crowded restaurant, you automatically think the food must be good? The female brain works the same way when evaluating men. If you seem to be always available, always waiting, always eager for attention, your perceived value plummets. It's basic market psychology applied to human relationships. You need to create the perception that your time is valuable and scarce. When she texts you, don't reply immediately. Wait. Let her wonder what you're doing. When setting up a date, suggest a specific limited time. Say you only have an hour because you have other commitments, even if you don't. I remember a guy I knew, a car salesman. He told me that when he started applying this, his life changed. Before, he'd reply to texts in seconds. Afterward, he started waiting hours, sometimes a whole day. You know what happened? Women started sending 2-3 texts in a row. They began to wonder why he wasn't so available anymore. The dynamic completely reversed. Scarcity creates desire. Does that make sense to you? Second technique, inverse mirroring. Everyone talks about mirroring body language to build rapport. Nonsense. That's beginner level. Inverse mirroring is when you first establish synchronicity and then subtly break the pattern to create tension and interest. Start by mirroring her gestures, her tone of voice, the rhythm of the conversation. Create that feeling of natural connection. She crosses her legs, you cross yours. She tilts her head, you tilt yours. After establishing this rhythm for about 10 minutes, you break the pattern. She leans forward, you lean back. She speeds up her speech, you slow down yours. This creates subtle cognitive dissonance. Her brain registers that something has changed, but can't quite identify what. This small tension generates curiosity, and curiosity is the first step to deep attraction. It's like when you're listening to music and suddenly a note is off key. Your brain instantly pays attention. I once applied this at a party. The woman was completely uninterested at first. After 20 minutes of inverse mirroring, she literally pulled a chair closer to sit next to me. She said she felt a different energy, but couldn't explain what it was. Different energy. Can you feel the power of this? Third technique, the principle of unexpected reciprocity. The human brain is programmed to return favors. It's a social survival mechanism that has existed for thousands of years. But here's the trick almost no one realizes. Reciprocity works best when it's unexpected and seemingly without ulterior motives. I'm not talking about buying drinks or paying for expensive dinners. That's too obvious. I'm talking about small gestures that create subtle psychological debts. For example, you're talking and notice she's cold. You offer your jacket without making a big deal of it, without expecting anything in return. Or even better, you simply place the jacket over her shoulders while continuing to talk, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. Another example, she casually mentions she loves a specific type of chocolate. 2 weeks later, you show up with that chocolate. Not as a romantic gift. You just say you saw it and thought of her. You hand it to her and immediately change the subject. Don't wait for an elaborate thank you. Don't linger, waiting for a reaction. This creates powerful psychological tension. She feels she owes you something, but you're not collecting. This unresolved debt occupies mental space. She thinks about you even when you're not present. Is it manipulation? Some would say yes. I say it's understanding how the brain works and using that knowledge to your advantage. A friend of mine did this with a coworker. She mentioned she was stressed about a project. He left a coffee and a chocolate bar on her desk with a post-it note, just saying good luck. He didn't even wait for a thank you. 2 weeks later, she asked him out. Coincidence? You know it's not. Fourth technique, the subtle emotional anchor. This is possibly the most powerful and most dangerous if misused. The human brain automatically and unconsciously associates emotions with external stimuli. When you learn to deliberately create these associations, you basically hack into her emotional system. It works like this. Whenever she's in a positive emotional state during your conversation, you make a specific, unique gesture. It could be touching your own chin in a particular way, adjusting your watch, running your hand through your hair in a specific manner. Something subtle but distinctive. You repeat this gesture only when she's laughing, animated, or clearly happy. After several repetitions, her brain creates a neural connection between your gesture and the positive emotional state. Then, when you want to reactivate those emotions, you simply repeat the gesture. It's classical conditioning applied to human relationships. Pavlov would be proud, but there's a crucial detail no one tells you. The anchor needs to be installed during moments of genuine emotional peak. There's no point in making the gesture when she's just being polite. It needs to be in that moment, when she throws her head back, laughing, when her eyes truly sparkle, when she forgets she's in public. I saw this happen in real time once. A guy I knew would always touch his own wrist when the woman he was dating genuinely laughed. After about 3 weeks, he could completely change her mood just with that gesture. She herself didn't understand why she felt so good around him. Magic? Number. Pure science. Fifth technique, the dilemma of apparent control. Every human being wants to feel in control, especially women, who are constantly bombarded with male attempts to direct them. The genius of this technique is to give the complete illusion of choice while you subtly guide her toward your desired outcome. Never say, "Let's have dinner on Saturday." That's an imposition. Instead, ask, "Would you prefer dinner on Saturday, or would Sunday be better?" See the difference? You're giving options, but both lead to the result you want, which is dinner. It's the perfect illusion of control. This works at all levels of interaction. Want to kiss her? Don't just try. Create the moment, and then say something like, "Would you prefer I kiss you now, or do you want me to make you even more curious?" Whatever answer she gives, you win. If she chooses now, you kiss her. If she chooses to wait, you've created anticipation and desire. The secret is to always offer choices that seem different, but lead to the same destination. It's like a magician who asks you to pick a card, but all the cards in the deck are the same. The audience never realizes because they're focused on the feeling of making a choice. I once suggested this to a friend who was having trouble getting dates. He changed from, "Do you want to go out with me?" to, "Would you prefer a quick coffee on Tuesday or a relaxed drink on Thursday?" His success rate tripled. Women felt like they were choosing, when in reality, he had already determined there would be a date. Control disguised as freedom. Does it all make sense now? Now, pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. Studies show that 85% of men who learn these techniques fail to apply them. Do you know why? Because they're afraid of seeming manipulative, of being discovered, of being judged. Let me tell you an inconvenient truth. Every human interaction involves influence. When you choose an outfit to go out, you're trying to influence how people perceive you. When you tell a funny story, you're trying to influence others' moods. The only difference is that now you're doing it consciously, with technique, with precision. Some will say this is unethical, that it's pure manipulation. But answer me one thing, is it more ethical to let your love life be governed by chance and luck? Is it nobler to remain alone, frustrated, watching other men win over the women you desire, simply because you refuse to understand how the game works? Power is neutral. It's a tool. A hammer can build a house or break a window. The choice of how to use it is yours. But first, you need to have the hammer in your hand. Remember that feeling of being invisible I mentioned at the beginning? Of being like a ghost, passing without leaving a mark. That happens because you're hitting the wrong keys on the piano of human interaction. Now you know the sheet music. You know where to place your fingers to create the melody you want to hear. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. You can watch this video, think interesting, and continue doing the same old things. Or you can decide that today is the day everything changes. That today you take control. I'm going to give you a challenge. Choose just one of the techniques I explained. Just one. The one that resonated most with you. Practice it for a week. Don't try to apply them all at once. That's a recipe for failure. Master one, then move on to the next. Start with social scarcity. It's the easiest, and the results are almost immediate. Stop replying to texts right away. Stop being always available. Create a little mystery. See what happens. I guarantee that in 3 days, you'll notice the difference. Then move on to inverse mirroring. Practice it with everyone, not just women. Learn to consciously build and break rapport. It's like learning to drive. At first, you think about every movement. Then, it becomes automatic. The emotional anchor requires more practice and sensitivity. Don't try this until you've mastered the first two. It's an advanced technique, and if you do it wrong, it comes across as strange and obvious. But when you master it, it's devastatingly effective. The principle of unexpected reciprocity works best when you truly don't expect anything in return. I know it sounds contradictory, but genuine detachment is what makes the technique powerful. Make the gesture and forget about it. The psychological debt will work on its own in her mind. And the dilemma of apparent control? Use it in everything, from choosing a restaurant to more intimate decisions. Always offer options that lead to your goal. It's elegant, it's subtle, and it works absurdly well. You know what the most ironic part of all this is? Women unconsciously want men who understand these principles. They're attracted to men who know how to lead the dance of seduction without stepping on their toes, who create tension, mystery, desire, without seeming desperate or needy. You're offering them exactly what they want. A rich, unpredictable, exciting emotional experience. It's not manipulation when both parties win. It's social mastery. There's another aspect I need to mention. These techniques don't just work for romantic attraction. They work in all areas of life. Business, friendships, networking. Once you understand how to influence and persuade, all doors start to open. But there's a price. Once you see how the social matrix works, you can't unsee it. You'll notice when others try to use similar techniques on you. You'll understand the power dynamics in every interaction. You'll see through the social masks everyone wears. It's liberating and frightening at the same time. Now, before you go out there and try to conquer the world, let me give you one last piece of advice. These techniques are powerful, but they don't replace genuine personal development. They are multipliers. If you're a 0, multiplying by 1,000 still gives you 0. Work on yourself. Fitness, career, hobbies, knowledge. The techniques I've taught amplify what you already are. They don't create something out of nothing. They are the final polish on a diamond that already needs to have some value, and never ever use these techniques to deliberately hurt anyone. The universe has interesting ways of returning the energy you put out into the world. Use them to create connections, not to destroy people. There's one last thing I need to say. This knowledge I've shared isn't for everyone. Most men will continue to stumble in the dark, tripping over their own insecurities, blaming women, the world, genetics. Anything but taking responsibility for learning how things really work. You're not the majority. If you've made it this far, if you've absorbed everything I've said, you're part of a select group. Less than 5% of men have access to this level of understanding about social dynamics and attraction, and even fewer have the courage to apply it. The question that remains is simple. Will you be part of the 1% who actually use this knowledge, or will you let it remain just interesting information you saw in a video? The choice, as always, is yours. But before you make that decision, do yourself a favor. Like this video now. Before you forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next secrets I'm going to share. Because this is just the beginning. Remember the metaphor of the invisible conductor I mentioned? The one who doesn't force the musicians but leads the symphony with subtle, precise gestures? You now have the baton in your hand. The orchestra is waiting. The question is whether you'll have the courage to conduct the music or continue to be just another person in the audience, watching other men step onto the stage and earn the applause. The power is in your hands now. Use it wisely. And always remember, you're no longer invisible. You are now the invisible conductor, leading the symphony of emotions, creating the music you've always wanted to hear. The difference between the ghost you were and the conductor you can become is simply the decision to pick up the baton and start conducting. The moment is now. The choice is yours. And the game has just begun.